Hey guys, what's up? It's Eli, and hopefully soon Ashley from Lakes Farms Coffee. We got coffee, we got all the good things, and no idea what we're talking about tonight, but we're talking about something probably. So yeah, what are we talking about?
Talking about coffee.
Anything other than that?
Tropical storm.
So random.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's
Not regular.
not a regular storm, and it blew like crazy when we were coming back from Marcala.
Yeah.
Looked like you're way back there. Pity.
That better?
Either way, Jose. And I shouldn't be left alone with money. I went out today. We went and bought 3 coffee cups, 2 that matched, 1 that didn't. And I don't know, we bought a bed, an extra mattress for the group coming. I was going to start out tonight with we got a call today. We've been waiting about 10 days for our burlap sacks. You wouldn't think that it'd be a big deal to buy burlap, but the big mills control the burlap market. So you can't just go to a store here, buy a bunch of burlap sacks. And in the small town, even when we've had some blank burlap sacks, the printers wouldn't print them for us. So we're looking at getting our own screen printer next year.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
So yeah, we'll make some t-shirts maybe or something. But we'll at least be able to print our own sacks. But we got the sacks today. They called. Anna and I went to the mechanic, and all he had to do was slap on this one hose on the air conditioner and have us going. 6.5 hours later, oh no, it was later than that. I left at 3:15.
It was,
so
yeah, it was.
I got there at 8. So yeah, over 7 hours later, I left the air conditioner place, and when they were filling it up, I guess there was a blockage in the line. They kept running it, so they burnt up. They burnt up, literally smoke coming off of it.
Richard?
The brand new air compressor that we just put on it. So it was toast. They took it apart. It was just metal inside of it. So we finally got another one out of all the parts from the last 3 air compressors, one that would roll and my belt would stay on. So I came home. So we missed most of the day. Although Anna and I had 6 hours in the car, eventually I just stuck her in a taxi and paid a taxi to bring her all the way home so that she could do payroll because Saturday's payday. So we got Anna home. Then an hour later, I got home, and then it was just a quick turnaround, jump out of one vehicle, get in the next, and go pick up a bed and some stuff like that, and pick up Eli. Eli was holding the fort down today. So now I have to give him props. You know, he had to talk with a couple of the Hondurans that came up, that worked for us, came to the house. One of them needed 2 specific keys for buildings up on the project. The other one needed new clean boxes. Big heavy clean boxes because we're moving the library from one little bit room to the other. So he had to take care of all that in Spanish. So he did awesome because apparently they got their job done and he helped them do it. So, but it's never calming when you have to talk to somebody in a different language. You're always sort of trying to figure stuff out a lot of times. I have to get rid of the hat. Even though that's one that our preacher from our church gave us, Meridian Baptist. It's a church we've been going. I don't know. It's a new gang symbol for Meridian Baptist. Sure. No, a good friend of ours is a preacher at Meridian Baptist, and he gave us some hats, and he gave me a mug the other day. But tonight,
that was just because it was Father's Day, right?
I'm repping my Honduras mug, and and we're supposed to do some kind of contest. We talked to Richard about it, and we faked one contest and just sent Richard let him be the winner, and we sent him cups. I think that's right, didn't it, Richard? Didn't we send you some cups or something? Because your wife sent me one. But yeah, sometime in this month, we're supposed to do a drawing or something. I wrote down the rules and I forgot what it was. So yeah, when we get home, we'll do it.
We're very professional about contests.
Yeah, we're very good. But yeah, we're going to do we should be home the 23rd, 24th, 25th, something like that.
It's the 23rd, I think.
Yeah, the tickets say the 23rd, but if I can talk them into it, it's going to be the 25th or 26th, but don't tell my wife. So, Anyway, we've had a pretty busy week. We got bumped because of the first hurricane that came through. And so you'll have to call that out, man. I don't have my glasses.
And you said yes,
Oh, yeah.
and it looked good.
And this one, I just like it. I found the second one that actually I had to pick through some. The woman was watching because she thought all the cups were going to come down. There was 3 high stacked cups with cardboard under them, and I was pulling them out of the very bottom, and I'd pull one out, replace it with another one. She was just waiting for them to all fall. But I got me 2
And
new.
then to ask you to pay for them.
Yeah, I probably would have had to pay. But we just been farting around, having a pretty good time. We were sort of wanting to go camping, but it didn't work out. But then it turns out the group said they were bringing a couple of the guys in the group that's coming on Tuesday. Said they were bringing their camping tents. It's like a hammock that's enclosed in a net where they can just sleep out in the open. And they said they would love to camp. So I'm like, nobody likes to camp more than we do. So we'll
Yeah, literally no one likes to camp.
we're gonna send part of the group to Marcala to eat dinner and all that, and we're gonna go camping. And so they can
Hot dogs.
take care of themselves one day. And then we're breaking out the new grill that we've already grilled on about 20 times. And we're going to do hot dogs for the group on Sunday. And then Monday, we're going in I think it's Central America's largest zip line. It's over 1 kilometer long.
Yay.
And it's 300 feet off the ground. And it goes over a big waterfall and some stuff like that.
I know, is that 1 kilometer?
Yeah, anything over about 40 feet, you're gonna die if you hit the ground. Anyway.
No. I mean 1 kilometer long.
Yeah, it's long. And so we're going to take the group out Monday and do that.
Mosquito hammocks. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, I think that's something that's actually what they are. But the guys are bringing those. So we're going to pick up a few hammocks either tomorrow or Monday and string them up. So if they want to sleep in them. And I called the hotel. He said he had 5 hammocks because there's going to be 22 people on the farm. 22 or 23, I forget.
I think there's
5
18,
guys coming from Honduras.
23, yeah.
Yeah. So we're pumped. We got a whole lot more work to do. But right now it looks like the fog. Yeah, you can't see anything out there anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the wind just started blowing like crazy.
Wow,
and then now
it's just pitch black.
Yeah, we've been watching. I love watching the lights of the city, and now it's just you can see the coffee right off the back porch, but that's about it.
What are you reading now?
About Guatemala. Richard, is what in Guatemala?
Oh no, it's here it's near Marcala, the zip line.
Oh no, it's here in Marcala.
Guatemala's like a full day's drive.
Yeah, it takes us about 8 hours to drive to Guatemala. It takes us about an hour and 45 minutes to drive to El Salvador. But this one, it's about an hour, maybe or less, away from us. So it won't be with that many people. I didn't want to go too far. We wanted to take them to the caves, but that's about a 2.5 hour drive. And we're driving in 3 vehicles as it is. And so, without renting a $200-something a day bus, we're just going to sort of do the basics. But jumping back onto the burlap is here. The sacks are very not attractive. They didn't put the colored plants on them like we've had in years past. So they're just black and it's pretty bland. They messed up the lots and stuff like that. So we're going to have to do a lot of our own. We're going to cut block letters out of cardboard and spray paint lot numbers on them. But it's doable. We got them. And so Santos is going to bring in another 4 or 5 guys on Monday. And Monday, we're going to start packing up the burlap. And I'm borrowing one of those big, giant handheld sewing machines. So I'll get to use that. I'm going to be sewing up all kinds of crap. I got a rip in my shirt. But it's one of those, it sews it up like a feed bag, it has a string. So only if somebody with like a 9-year college degree can figure out how to cut it and unravel it, And so it literally took me 2 years. Now I can pop those things out.
Spray paint, duct tape, and markers, that's what's holding everything together.
Yeah, we got a crap load of duct tape. I never come to Honduras, or very seldom come to Honduras when I don't have the roll of black Gorilla Tape with me. And so this group that's coming, I'm going to have to call them, and I'm asking them to bring an air compressor for my Dodge.
And duct tape.
And some duct tape. Yeah.
It's probably holding this house together.
Yeah. I mean, I've used duct tape for all kinds of stuff. I slashed his hand open and I duct taped it till they could give me 6 stitches in it. But now I have my own stuff. That's a whole nother podcast. I got my own super glue kit for medical that duct tapes or stitches back together. So I don't even have to do those anymore.
It's good for everything except ducks.
Yeah, we might need to ask them for some giant markers, but we got some pretty decent sized ones. But the giant ones do better, letters. You don't have to but I like my letters to be big so there's no confusion. And this year we're not going to use any Spanish words. The workers they're going to have to learn what washed is and what honey is. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. We've been running around, and yesterday we took the day off. And so yesterday we drove 3.5 hours to go eat lunch at the tree house. And the food was okay. It was a pretty good burger. Fries, they were afraid of the salt. They thought, I'm not sure. But
somebody allergic to salt or something.
Yeah, maybe.
There's nothing.
But they were like, homemade fries and stuff. So they didn't cover them with a lot of oil and salt. So they were very good. But the hamburger was just so juicy. I went through about a dozen napkins to just eat the hamburger. And we went up this 3-story tree thing that they built in a giant. I don't know, was that mangoes or what kind of fruit was that?
I honestly don't forget. I honestly forget.
Well, apparently you left one of them in my floorboard, so it's either going to rot or you're going to have to go get it.
I'll pick it up.
But yeah, so we drove 3.5 hours to get there.
I think it is mango.
And if you guys saw our video, we're having a good time. Normally he reads a book and it's fairly quiet in the car, but the stupid radio quit working because the CD player was malfunctioning, so it wouldn't let the radio come on, and I couldn't get the CD to come on. So we were just talking, and all of a sudden I looked down because this flashing light caught my attention, and we're in the middle of nowhere. And
gas light.
I was like, well, that's like a little gas pump. That light's so cute. And then I'm like, oh, and she was laying on empty when I finally noticed it. And so it was turn back and drive 30 minutes to the nearest town and then find a gas station, or just keep going on. And we were going down a pretty steep hill, so I figured it'd take way more gas to backtrack 30 minutes. And we kicked on GPS, and it said an hour to the next town. So we were just coasting down the hill. I mean, we had it pulled back in second gear most of the time. Because we were just rolling down, and then all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere there's this tiny little
restaurant kind of store,
wooden building, and it says "Se vende gasolina," and so we sell gas. And so we pulled into that bad boy, and the tank we've been driving on empty for another 20 minutes at that point. And so we pulled in, asked her if she had gasoline, and she said yeah. She said, do you want 1 gallon or 2? And I'm like, is that all we can have? It's just 1 or 2? And she's like, no, do you want more? And I said, well, 4. Give me 4, And then I didn't have sense enough to ask how much it cost. We calculated it was, I think, $7.18 a gallon is what we paid for it. And it didn't bother me a bit. I gave her a $3 tip, and it tickled her to death, man. I was like, but so yeah, we got our gas and just rolled on. And from that point, it was 45 minutes before we hit a gas station.
So yeah, we would not have made it.
We would have been in trouble, man. And so, and then after it was all done, I'm like, I think I have an emergency half gallon up on the carriage.
Yeah, while you were filling it up, do you realize that?
But I didn't check, so I may not have had it. But
if you did, we might have actually been able to get you.
I don't know. It'd have still been close, but okay. Hey, Jared, how come you're going from propane to natural gas? While you're thinking about that. No, so then we went to get lunch. We did the tree house, but for the 3rd time, we went to this butterfly house, but they said it was too hot and the butterflies weren't out, so we couldn't go in.
Literally just tear down the building.
It's the 3rd time that we've been there and never been able to get in. So we took a picture of the butterfly building, which is nice. And then we headed to
the like a single butterfly, so that's
outside. So one of them had escaped or something, maybe.
No, it's not inside the case.
I got a couple on my grill.
And for the 3rd time, actually, also we went to the caves, and Maybe if I pronounce that correctly.
We're just old brothers now.
How do you pronounce it? I really am bad at
The
pronouncing.
place?
Yeah, it's
Tablevé is Tablevé is the name of the little area, and this La Cuevas de Cap Tablevé is the caves of Tablevé, and so we went there, and
That's the reason.
we had a good time, and there was this big group of North Americans that came through, like 25 people, 30 people from Texas.
We were like at the midway coming back, and so they had a guy with them, so we got to hear a cool story for free.
Yeah, some story they made up, but yeah, and so we got to speak to him a little bit, and then Eli pointed out on the ceiling right above them, there's this big cluster of bats.
Oh, we
I
got
don't know what you call a cluster of bats.
Did you get the?
Yeah, I've got some video of it, and so I'll try to post those tonight. I've got to return a lot of messages tonight. But so we did that, and then after the caves, we just sort of made our way back, and we stopped at the souvenir shop and tore that
a couple $100,
yeah.
a couple. She's not. She's texting me.
We didn't spend the money there. It was the next souvenir shop we went to.
No, it was one of the first one, honestly.
Well, the second one was expensive. That's metal.
No, that was the first one.
No, was it?
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, I lose track. Yeah, we're not very
$60 later.
But we went and there's a guy there that cuts designs and shapes out of metal. So we got a couple of things there, and then we headed to the regular souvenir shop that's got all kinds. I bought a little bit of pottery, like one little pottery vase, and then we bought some stuff for some friends and stuff like that. So it was a fun little day. Yeah, the only problem is, you're gonna Jared, you're gonna have to change all your burners out, or what are you gonna have to do? And what roaster do you have? Right now, I've been struggling with my roaster. I just converted to bigger burners, and I ended up blowing through a bunch of propane, but I've still got the same time, roasting time. So it didn't really help me out that much. I usually have a list with me of all the questions that have been asked, but one of the questions was about shipping, and that's almost a weekly thing. So we already filed last week for our container, and so we turned in our number as 201 bags. And so, and we're going to have a lot more peaberry this year. We ended up being 1.6% of our crop was peaberry. So we had a good turnout on peaberry. And then we're going to have quite a bit of natural also of the Lempira. And I forget what else we did. We did another Marciesa natural and a couple other things. Hey, Jared, I'll get you the dates later, but there was a day, I looked up a date in September, and it's been 15 years since I got a ticket that was 400 and something, and it was $489. So apparently September might be a good time to travel if anybody wants to come. I've got to come up for 2 weeks then. Yeah, you'll have to drill. So you guys can just drill out your orifices. See, I didn't know that you could still be inches of water column on natural gas. I thought it took so much more natural gas to create the same amount of BTUs. I thought you'd have to go to PSI. Yeah, keep me up on that, because I'm struggling with my roaster. I still don't have it just to where I want it. And I also have natural gas coming to the house, and we're tapping straight into a natural gas line. And back years ago, the family gave the company permission to come through. So we get a really good rate on natural gas. And it would be really great if I could switch it over to natural gas, so I didn't have to haul those 100-pound tanks all the time, because I've got two 100-pound tanks. So you're thinking you could do 35,000 BTU? Because I'm running 12.5 inches of water column on my old setup, and so this setup I'm pushing like 28, and so I mean, it's really, really cranking up, and I'm still not that much better off. So I'm still going to have to, I'm going to build me a new set of the holders or whatever you want to call that for the heads that I have, the burners that I have, and I'm going to try some different things. I just went from 1/2 inch pipe to 3/4 inch pipe. So I'm still playing with it, and you're going to see, yeah, there's got to be a sweet spot in there. I've just got to find it. But I'm thinking I need like 120,000 BTU. But the DY2 that you have, does the 2 stand for 2 pounds or 2 kilos or just the number 2? Not sure.
2 people.
I thought you had some notes.
What?
Oh. But we're going to be here until we're going to be here like 10 or 11 more days.
We're here till Tuesday, so that's
Tuesday the following
Sunday,
week.
Monday,
So
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
yeah,
Friday. So
about 10 days.
yes, exactly.
Oh, excuse me. We've been staying up late, getting up early every morning.
You have.
So it's a 2 kilo. And so currently you're on propane. And so that 7 inches of water column is 35,000 BTU on propane. Is that right, Jared? I mean, and you're doing maybe every 12 minutes or so. Is that what your turnaround is on your coffee? Well, my plan is to build a roaster next year, almost identical to the roaster that I already have, but probably about a 10 or 12 pounds bigger. And then soon after that, I want to build about a 10-pound roaster. Okay, please log out. Say bye.
Thanks, guys.
Eli's got something to do. I don't know what. Fart around? Is that their official stand? Oh, okay. Mama's calling on the other line. But yeah, any information you can give me on that, I'll get with you in the next few days. So 9 minutes on propane. All right, that's good. That's because I'm around 11 once I get rolling. But well, so to answer the one question about when the coffee's going to ship, I did the paperwork about a week ago. We'll start. It'll take us about a week to pack up all the bags because we're short on labor right now, and so this is probably going to be the last couple days of July is when the coffee will ship. So it's going to be quite a bit later this year than what we'd hoped. Next year we're going with a different company, and so next year we're going to probably ship in May. That's the goal. And then next year we've already talked with 5 different farmers. And so we're going to have coffee from at least 5 different bigger farms. And then we'll have about 5 or 6 of our workers' coffee next year. So that's the goal. And we're looking for different varieties. And so we'll see if we can pick up some stuff that just to give something else a try. I'm not sure exactly what some of them are. There's a couple of them that I've never even heard of. So I've got to research them and see exactly what the people have and look at their cupping scores and who did the cupping scores and things like that. Yeah, if you've got an engineer that would trade some consulting for coffee, or I can write him a check, either one. I'd like to talk to somebody that I could give them my drum size and things like that. One of the problems I'm having, Jared, is not knowing how many BTU my burner puts out, because I've got them on a trade. And so the guy didn't honor his end of the trade on a few things. I never got the regulator, and then he had somebody build a platform for the heads, which the heads keep backing out, and they've wallowed out the threads, and just had nothing but trouble out of it. So there's no markings on my nozzles to say how big they are. So I would love to shoot one in the mail to somebody that knew what they were doing and have somebody look at them, or if there's a way to measure them and sort of tell me, if I've got 22 of these heads, how many BTU should I be putting out with this size pipe, with this much pressure and stuff like that. So yeah, if there's anybody that might want to consult with me, I'll work out how to pay them. But it's I'm just guessing at stuff, and a couple of times it's made it better. One time it made it worse. So I've just got to sort of figure out what the best way to get this thing done is. And when I get it perfected a little more, then my roast quality is going to go up a lot, because our goal is to start selling more roasted coffee. It's the only way we're going to stay in business and keep up some of these projects that we're doing. So we'll keep plugging away, and we'll keep trying it. And we desperately need support on the mission side, because right now the farm's supporting a lot of that mission. But it would be great if we could start selling more of the roasted coffee, just to take that. We need to buy a laser sorter. That'll help us with quality quite a bit. Yeah, no, we'll keep selling green, but a lot of my customers that buy roasted coffee just want good coffee. They're not really that important that it comes from my farm or anything like that. So I think a lot of those customers, if I were to buy other people's coffees and put in with my coffees too, and then my green guys have been so loyal, it's not even funny. And so, give them some more options. And then next year, we're also going to be buying from one of my customers who buys 160, 170,000 pounds of green a year. And so I've got quite a bit of coffee from a lot of different countries, from at least 12 different countries, that I could start offering, on my website. I'm not going to roast his coffee that I buy from him and sell it. I'm only going to roast Honduran coffee, with the exception of my decaf that I buy from Mexico. But I get that from that customer. But I would like to be able to have green for my customers that could, might be able to pick something up, and I should still be able to make like 75 cents to $1 a pound on the green. And so, and I don't have to buy it in bulk, and I don't have to store it. He lives about 45 minutes from my house. So that would be an option to help everybody out. And that's something I'm probably going to start doing in August. So if there's any countries or any specific types you guys are wanting, just let me know. But we've actually been here since Wednesday. We got here Wednesday afternoon, 3:30, 4 o'clock. And we haven't even been out into the farm yet. It's just been getting the house ready, we have a second apartment now that we're trying to finish up. They finished up the bathroom today. We're not going to get it tiled before Tuesday, I don't think. And that's when the people come. But we've got it's functioning now. We got one light in the center of the apartment, and we've got 3 plug-ins. So I'm trying to get a company to come out and run a cat cable so they'll have Wi-Fi in the apartment. That would be nice. And then we're building I've got about 500 concrete blocks. And so we're going to build them a little tiny front porch temporarily out of those concrete blocks, and then build them steps to get into the apartment. So it's definitely a work in progress, and it won't be perfect, and we've rented an entire little hotel down the road for everybody to stay in. So we've got a couple of people staying in our apartment, 4 people staying in a new apartment, and then the rest of them are staying in that apartment up the hill. So we'll sort of see how everything works out, and we'll sort of go from there. But if you guys got any questions? Oh yeah, he always has a good Yirgacheffe. And a lot of times he has a nice Ethiopian natural. I'm not a big fan of natural, but I think what I need to do is drive over there and sort of get a list from his roaster of what his current offerings are. He's got like base offerings. He's always getting something new and different in, but to see what his base offerings are that he carries every day of the year. Because he'll buy a pallet of like Yirgacheffe, and he'll buy a pallet of, natural from Ethiopia. And so he buys in just this huge bulk. So we're hoping that whatever his base coffees are that he depends on, we could start selling that green, and sort of expand where what we do with coffee, and maybe help some of you guys out too. I know that Bill, he's bought quite a couple of different countries from us through that guy, just helping Bill get started out. Yeah, and the Marcala region's very good, and we didn't really make any contacts back in March, but we did go to the Copan region, and so that's something that we're wanting to do again. When I come in September, I'm going to visit Copan for about 3 days, and there's a couple of farms we want to visit down there. You can't really buy coffee from a tiny coffee farmer that far away. It's going to have to be a bigger farmer that has the capability and contacts that he can put 1,000 pounds of coffee on a truck and ship it to us, or put it on a bus and ship it to us. So it's we won't be able to help some tiny ones, but Copan has got some coffees unique to the Copan region. And I forgot what the one was I bought from that, whatever that coffee shop we went to that had the world's best cheesecake.
Welch's.
Okay. But they had the really good cheesecake. Wasn't that the coffee shop?
Yeah.
Okay. So I bought a pound of coffee from them and really liked it. And there's a couple that we want to try to visit while we're down there and see if we can't, buy some coffee. The hotel we stayed at, that guy grows coffee too.
Oh, he does. I thought he just did the chocolate.
Well, he grows cocoa and he's a chocolatier. And so we had some really good coffee. Chocolate.
Yeah.
The problem is with really good chocolate, it melts really easily. So we got back, all of our chocolate bars were deformed, but I still ate them all.
They were still good.
Yeah.
Especially that cookies and cream one or something.
Yeah, they had a cookies and cream one that they.
And they had even different ratios of cocoa.
The cocoa ratios, yeah.
Yeah, don't try 100%. It's not great, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's not very good at all. But we went to their place and they had some little samples and we did that. But yeah, I'm planning a trip in September and I've invited a couple friends. And I know we take it for granted that, I packed a shirt and a pair of jeans and Eli brought a lot more clothes than I did. But I've got clothes here, and so we get on a plane, we figure out how to, we sort of know customs and how to get everything done. So to take a taxi over to my car, which is like a mile from the airport. So for us, it's gotten to where it's a little easier to go to Honduras. But so when I casually say we've invited some friends over to Honduras, it's not that big a deal to fly to Honduras. It's a nice country.
As far as I know, Jared, I don't think we do. Do we have a cocoa bean source? Not really.
No, there's some North Americans, but it's not somebody we chose to do business with. There wasn't any kind of a profit margin that we could deal with, and it was and there has to be some profit in there in order to pay for problems that you're obviously going to have at some point or another with customs and bringing it in. I did check if I could find some cocoa beans. It would still.
I think you couldn't really bring anything that could grow in or something.
No, once they've been processed, you can. It does fall under our license as far as coffee, the cardamom that we grow, and those things. But no, I'd really like to be able to grow some
cocoa in this environment, though.
No, we'd have to grow it in the solar dryers.
Okay.
So we've looked into it. We have these solar dryers that would say we could put in a aeration or a water system where it would keep it really humid and stuff like that. But we just couldn't grow it in a volume enough to make it worthwhile. But nobody much grows cocoa where we're at. There's a few people have some in their yard, but as far as being cocoa farms near us, there's not. The Tabave, the Suarapeki, where we were yesterday, that's sort of where a couple hours from the house is where you would start growing cocoa and stuff like that.
So it was definitely a lot hotter there, I think.
Yeah. And so I think that has a lot to do with just like coffee, altitude, climate, and all that stuff play a big part in it.
Moisture, that kind of thing. I get that.
Cool. But yeah, we're looking at a couple different things that we could do to, help the farm. And so one of the things is trying to buy a couple different regions. We've talked to a guy up in Don Lee, which is up toward Nicaragua, and he's got coffee, but they basically just dry the coffee and sell it in parchment. they haven't been cupping it or anything like that. But the last time I talked to him, he's so frustrated that he's ready to sell his farm. So, hey Mario, how you doing? ¿Cómo está, Mario? Uh, but yeah, it's a lot of people are about ready to be done with coffee because of the labor shortages. And that's the reason I want to buy a laser sorter next year, is because we can't find the women to sort the coffee. And Anna told me one of my key women went to work for another nonprofit that does coffee. And then today, Glenda went to work for yet another co-op that does coffee. And so it's just getting harder and harder. So we lost two of our top two coffee selectors this year to other co-ops. And we have that trouble every year. Some of the smaller co-ops will come in and steal our workers once we train them. And that's just sort of something that's been happening. But now, literally, so many people have gone to the United States that, we didn't top 80 workers this year while we were picking. And last year, the top day was 159 workers picking. Hey, thanks, Jared, for popping on. We're going to do another podcast tomorrow afternoon. I see Mario's a friend of mine from Salvador, and so we've been to their house and they've been to our house, and so need to get him out to the farm again. But we're definitely going to put together a few guys and come out and do a small mission project while we're here, and then visit some coffee places. We're going to go tour a big mill next week one day, so we've got a few things planned for the group. But in September, it'll be the last week of September, first week in October. We're going to have, I'm going to come up for 2.5 weeks. So if anybody wants to come up for 5 to 8 days, whatever you can do. Last year, some guys came up for 3 days. That's all they could do. And just came up. And I'm not going to say it's a trip of a lifetime, but if you're a coffee person, January, February are the time to come if you're a coffee lover. But it's definitely, a fun time, and we'll get to do some coffee stuff and definitely go out in the farm and things like that. The lot P3M, Richard, you might jump in. You bought some of that here not long ago, but that is a 89-point coffee. We bill it as an 88-point coffee just to be safe. But that coffee cups really well. And I think, Richard, you can correct me. I think it's the one that has the grapefruit. Is that right? It was a really good coffee this year. It was our best coffee this year. And I've done a couple blends with it to try to see if I can do anything. And I held 2 bags back just to play with and see if we can really make something pop on it. But yeah, Mike, my best friend is Michael Mathis, and he's from Tennessee. And so when you bought coffee, I was like, well, man, I hope he knows that it's unroasted. Maybe he just thinks he's getting a deal at $6, $7, $8 a pound. But then my wife looked up and said, no, it's not Michael's address. It's a different Mike Mathis. So it's pretty cool. I got 2 Mike Mathises from Tennessee that buy coffee from us. But Mike, you're roasting on what? Can you tell us what you roast and sort of how far you take the coffee? And but right now we're this is the jumping back into the mission thing. I know I'm sort of scatterbrained tonight. It's not that different from other nights, but I should post a thing like a menu. Somebody asked if I had a menu of all the flavors. I'm working on that for this coffee season, and I'll start working on it tonight because we got to put our mixes together so that we can start packing coffee on Monday. So what I do is I go through the list of all the different. I think Anna said we had 69 cupping scores this year. And so what we'll do is we'll start putting the lots, as long as they're within a half a point of each other and share the same flavor profiles, we'll mix those two lots together. And then we go with the lower score. And so if you're mixing an 85 and an 85 and a half, then we're going to bill that as an 85. But it has to share, the basic. I might mix a chocolate with one that's chocolate and caramel, but I would never mix a chocolate and caramel with one that's chocolate and citrus. I think those two flavors would, one would drown the other one out. So we try to separate them that way. But we have literally probably about 90 lots. Some of them are so tiny that we weren't going to pay the $21 to get it cupped. So we just went with the bigger lots this year. And we had a couple of bad lots this year that went bad because we tried to, we took it to a place that was a lot warmer, a different farm, and we overheated a couple of the coffees and ruined them. So those obviously won't be coming to the States. We sold those for Maxwell House or Folgers, but and that's a joke. We don't actually sell to those two companies, but we do sell those coffees to a sub-commodity buyer. And every year we have plenty of those guys coming around. Will buy anything. It's got a little mold on it. They don't care. They'll buy pretty much anything. Now the BC2, I'm guessing, is 2 kilo. So that's a pretty decent size roaster. That's about the same size that Jared had. He was on just a few minutes ago. Well, Mike, am I wrong in saying that you're from Tennessee? I'm pretty sure that's right. And are you from West Tennessee? That would be my next question. Because in August, Eli and I are headed to Alamo, Tennessee, Murray City, Tennessee, and McKenzie, Tennessee in August. All right, look at there. How far are you from Alamo or McKenzie? Because I was thinking you were close to Trenton, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, okay, okay. Well, yeah, Eli and I are driving up in August. In my old office, because I'm from Alamo, Tennessee. So my old office was I had one in Trenton, Tennessee, and I had one in Murray City, Tennessee. So when we moved to Honduras, we packed everything from the house. We sent all the good stuff to Honduras on a container. And then everything else we stored in my office in Murray City. And then my manager kept running our office in Trenton until he passed about 6 years ago, and we shut that down. And then I sold the office about 3 or 4 years ago. So we no longer have that office, but we're going to go by Murray City and grab a few things. We'll take a truck and trailer and start hauling stuff back to Kansas. So and that's pretty much where we're at from here on out. But the group that's coming on Tuesday is from the McKenzie Church of Christ in McKenzie, Tennessee. So we're going to go up there after the trip. We're going to give them a couple weeks, and then they'll, I think, on a Wednesday night or Sunday night or something, and we'll sort of give a little mission report and talk to the congregation there. So we'll be in Tennessee, so maybe we'll run across each other, because I know where Mumford is. I can't picture it in my head, because I haven't lived in Tennessee for almost 10 years. Actually, July the 3rd, 2014, July the 3rd, 2014, I moved from Alamo, Tennessee to Honduras. And so then we were in Honduras for 6 years straight. And then after COVID, we started spending half our time in the States and half our time in Kansas. And then during COVID, I also set up my roastery. So that's sort of my history. Yeah, I've talked to that company in Arizona before and really like them. They have a lot of good products, and so we've tried talking to them about a couple different things. They also have, I think they also make a K-cup machine. They may have stopped making the K-cup machine though. I'm not sure. There was one of the companies we spoke to had stopped making it. But that's one of the things that we're going to have to do to stay on, to help on the roasted side, because good Lord, it takes a long time to fill K-cups by hand with those little snap caps. But we need some kind of machine. But it seems like those machines go $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Then there's a jump up to like 12,000 to 50,000. And so we sell about 6,000 K-cups a year, maybe. Probably about 4,500 K-cups a year, I bet. I'd have to ask my wife. Well, all right. Well, man, Mike, I hope that we can meet you. We can meet you one day. We'll be traveling some on the weekend, so maybe it'd be where when we left, we might go through. We might take I-40 and go a different route home. Or come through I-40 or something like that. But yeah, definitely, if there's any chance that we could meet somewhere in the middle, and we'll buy you supper or something, and I'll bring you some green beans that aren't on the website. I've got a couple beans that I don't sell that are just mine. I don't sell my geisha, and I don't sell my Mario Hipe normally on the website. So that'd be something fun you could try. And also I have another small guy that has a little tiny farm that'll probably produce about 200 pounds of green a year. And so we're looking to pair him with somebody. And if you're looking for a woman farmer, our manager, Anna, she has a good amount of coffee every year. So those would be some little micro farmers that would help you maybe market your coffee and still be direct trade and all that good stuff. But well, I know it's getting late on your side. It's because I think you guys are an hour ahead of us. It's almost 9 here. So I've been trying to keep the podcast to an hour. So we're going to sign out here in just a second. But the coffee's going to be heading to town pretty quick. We're going to do another podcast probably about 4 o'clock tomorrow. If it's the weather's good, we're going to be out in the farm. If it's not, we'll be back on the porch or maybe in the cupping lab, something like that. The cupping lab is actually where I have my little podcast center set up. So we might do that and might do a little tour of our cupping thing, because we're getting all that set up and washing all the cups and getting ready for when the North Americans come. We're going to do a formal cupping with them. And tomorrow I'll be doing some roasting on my Hucky 500T. So we'll try to maybe do some videos on that tomorrow, because I don't have a lot of coffee. The only coffee I have in the farm is what I brought from Kansas with me. So I'm going to roast a couple different varieties. And then Monday night, I'm going to roast a geisha, Mario Hipe, and some things like that, because I actually don't know where that coffee is in the big bodega. Anna's got everything inventoried, and I don't have that sheet, so I don't know where to even start looking for coffees. I'll go in there tomorrow, and I know where the Lempira is because that's the biggest section. So I'll go in there tomorrow and pull out a few pounds of that, and I'll roast a little bit tomorrow because I need coffee for when the North Americans come. There's a couple things that I can't live without: coffee, and then I don't know if you guys can see. There's my fun party lights, but there's a thing of bananas that's on the back porch. So I always ask either Bahidio or Santos to make sure I've got 2 bundles of bananas. One of them that's sort of green and the other one's ready to eat now. So tomorrow we'll start making some banana smoothies because some of these are getting pretty ripe. And tomorrow afternoon, Eli's job is going to be make a couple loaves of banana bread. And so I thought about, we're going to try it this next time we come home, but we're going to try to make about a half a dozen loaves of banana bread and bring them back with us, and then mail them out to a couple of customers just for the fun of it, to have Honduran banana bread. And it's surprising how many of the women here don't even know how to make banana bread. And you would think with a banana tree every 10 feet that literally in my farm, there's a banana tree every 30 feet. But there's a lot of the women don't know how to make a lot of things with bananas. So we're going to try to work with a few recipes. Yeah, I love the groups. I love it when people visit the farm. We're by the end of 2025, my goal is to have 5 apartments out on the farm. And so we'll finish up the next one next month. I'm probably about $4,000 from having it finished up. It's a little bigger than normal. and it's going to have a concrete top on it so that I can build a second level and the next apartment will go on top of that one. And after those get done, that'll give us 3 apartments. And then there's a spot down here in the center of the farm that that is perfect for 3, and they'll all have little back decks on them that overlook into the farm, similar to what my back deck is. And at that point, once we get the second one built and it looks nice and painted and all that good stuff, then we're going to host it, put it on that Airbnb, and start renting them out and try to pick up some revenue that way. But the goal is to have 5 or 6 apartments finished by the end of next year, which is probably $45,000 is what it'll cost. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. But when you don't have $45,000 in your pocket, then, you know, it seems like a lot of money. So, but no, you guys think about it. If September might work with something, it won't cost you anything to stay here. I'll come get you at the airport. We'll just, you know, we'll split the food while you're here. It'll be, other than the airplane ticket, it's a pretty cheap trip, and it's a fun trip. And somebody asked Eli last year. We did an interview for a paper, and they said we were in Kansas, and then they said, "Does it feel good to be home?" And he looked at it and said, "No, my home's in Honduras." And so I was like, "Well, you know, that felt pretty good." And I feel like this is where I'm going to retire. I've got me a spot out here where they're going to bury me. I mean, I've already talked to them about it. And I told Julia, I said, if I die here, unless the insurance demands that you bring my body back for an autopsy or something like that, I said, just bury me here. I'd be fine. Just right off this back porch that I spend so much of my time on. Because when the weather's good, my books are out here. I just leave my stuff out on the back porch. And now that I put my extension on it, I'm fixing to put up a windbreak on the side of here. And I just, this is just sort of where my office is. And I just sit out here, and the new extension's got plug-ins for my cell phone and party lights. You know, I spent $25 buying party lights. So it's where I like to be. It's got one of the best views, I think, in the world here. And so I'd be fine with being buried here. And so, but I hope it's not anytime soon. I'd like to enjoy retirement for a few years. But guys, thanks for watching. Oh, okay, Mike, if you Google Legacy Farms Coffee, Cerro Bueno, which is CerroBueno, Cerro Bueno, Honduras, the GPS will pinpoint the farm, and you can look at it. And you just go to satellite view, and you'll be able to see like the driveway coming down the hill to our house, and there's a big patio. And if you zoom in on that patio, you'll be able to see there's coffee on the patio. And in the middle of the farm, there's one building in the middle of the farm, and that's called the Organic Bodega. And that's where when we next, about probably sometime in August, they'll start digging the pond out. And the pond is where all the pulpa was from, you know, January, February, March, when we were pulping the coffee, taking the cherry off the coffee. All of that went into there. They put, it's right beside of the dehulling room, and the dehuller blows the coffee husk right straight into that mix. We throw in chicken poop, a little bit of cow poop, some horse poop, and then that gets mixed up a couple times. And then once the top layer dries, then they bag it up and they take it to the middle of the farm to the Organic Bodega. And we do that in trucks. And then that way, when they get ready to start fertilizing the farm, everything is in that one central location. And they keep about 100 bags up here on top of the hill. And so it makes it more convenient for them to fertilize. But yeah, if you can't find the farm, Mike, let me know. I'm going to be up till midnight, so you can email me or PM me or whatever, however we contact each other. But yeah, let's try to when Eli and I in Tennessee, maybe we could run across each other, and if it works out, then I'll bring a few pounds of green with me, and you can try a couple different coffees, because I've got a nice Mario Hipe, I think, and then that Perinema P3M, that's the one I won 7th place with in the Marcala Coffee Festival this year. Somebody was asking about the P3M earlier. But guys, I'm going to sign off. thanks for jumping on. Thanks for the questions. And there was a few questions that I didn't get to. I'll send you personal PMs on those later on tonight before I go to bed. But thanks for jumping on. And if you guys ever like a video or something, share it with some people. I should appreciate it. But we will maybe see you tomorrow. But we're going to be on a regular schedule here pretty soon. With the podcast, we'll go back to Tuesday night at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Central. So we'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great night. Thanks a lot.